All right, let's move on to the next question. And this question is from David. I don't understand what part the brain plays in your big toe. From our perspective in this PMR, it seems the brain controls the body of the avatar and is presumably the interface through which the free will awareness unit sends instructions and receives feedback. Any injury or disease of the brain would add constraint to what the free will awareness unit is able to do with the avatar. But this seems to conflict with the idea that the brain and internal instructions of the avatar are only rendered if someone opens the body and needs to see the expected internals. So what part does the brain actually play? Can you please clear up this apparent conflict?
Sure. I've talked about this many times, but it is a virtual brain. It is not, it is just rendered, as you say, when somebody opens up a head. Otherwise, there's no need to compute a brain. But the rendering engine renders the virtuality as if there were a brain, as if there were a heart, as if there were blood in your veins, as if you had a liver and a kidney and all these things. So your function gets rendered. That's what virtual realities are like. It's the same with your Sims character. Your Sims character gets up, goes to the refrigerator to get a beer or to have dinner, or gets in a car and goes off to a job. Well, it's not because his brain is telling him to do that, but it's as if he had a brain, as if he had a job, as if he had a refrigerator. Everything is just virtual. So that's the whole point of a virtual thing. Now, your idea that the brain is somehow an interface between consciousness and the body is a problem. And it's probably what's confusing you. The brain is not an interface between the consciousness and the body. It's a virtual brain. Anything you remember, all the processing you do, the thinking that you do, it's all done with consciousness. Just like when you play that Sims character. All the thinking that Sims character does is a player doing the thinking. The Sims character doesn't do any thinking. Okay, now it's not that the Sims character has a brain and the player just is the interface to that brain, and the brain actually is what's making the Sims character work. Doesn't work like that. Sims character doesn't have a brain. The player has the brain. The player, I say has the brain, but I mean has the cognitive function, is the consciousness. See, so that's the way it works in our reality. There's no inconsistency. Now, when an avatar has brain injury, gets hit in the head with something, has a brain injury, then it's as if he had a brain injury, just like as if he had a brain. Right. So he has to get rendered as if he had a brain injury, which means he gets rendered slurring his speech, dragging a leg, stumbling around or something, whatever that brain injury would likely cause according to the rule set. So he gets rendered as if he had a brain injury, which means now the consciousness has to play an avatar that slurs its speech, drags a leg, and has problems. So the avatar won't be able to do things it used to do before. And the consciousness can say, okay, avatar, jump up and dance, but it won't happen because the rule set doesn't support that. You can tell your Sims character to shake, flap its arms and fly, and it won't fly because the rule set doesn't support that function. You see, it's the same way. So it's being rendered as if it had all those organs. There is no brain. The conscious does not interface with the avatar because it has a brain. That's a materialistic viewpoint that's creeping into your understanding. So there isn't a conflict there at all. Think of the words as if. You get rendered as if. Okay, that's what virtual reality is all about.